You've had a long and distinguished career in the Canadian Forces and have received a number of awards and prestigious medals. What could prepare you for this job as Usher of the Black Rod in the Canadian Senate?
Well, Bruce, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. My name is Terry Christopher. I'm the Usher of the Black Rod in the Senate of Canada. And to answer your question, I was appointed here in December 2002 by the Prime Minister. And basically my career in the military, in ceremonial, in events, security, logistics, and event planning in foreign affairs as well, as I think have all come together in terms of my qualifications to come here to be the Usher of the Black Rod in the Senate. It requires a person of dignity, and it requires a person who understands the ceremony and understands the history behind these ceremonies and the importance of doing things the right way the first time.
Is it true that you're the Queen's representative concerning openings of Parliament?
Yes, Bruce. Going back in time to over 600 years, and in particularly going back into the British system in Westminster, the Usher of the Black Rod began basically his term in 1341 under King Edward III. And in 1361, he became known as Gentleman Usher of the Black Rod. So continuing that tradition on into the Canadian system, the Usher of the Black Rod in Canada is the Queen's escort, the Queen's messenger, or the Queen's contact in the Senate of Canada, or the representative of the Queen, of course, which would be the Governor General, for such things as installation of the Governor General and speech from the throne, opening of Parliament, and the Royal Assent of Bills. And any other time that the Governor General would come to the Parliament for official occasions, I would be involved as the messenger or as the escort for the Governor General.
What is it like to be a member of the welcoming party for visiting heads of state and government to Canada?
Well, for many years, 13 years working for the Foreign Affairs and the Prime Minister's office, I was involved with organizing meet and greet parties for visiting heads of state, heads of government. I was actually also one of the members of the welcoming party for the Prince of Wales when he came to Canada, and for President Clinton. So it's been quite an honor to be invited to be part of that group. And also on Parliament Hill now, I'm part of the welcoming party with the Speaker, with the two Speakers actually, and with the two clerks of the Senate and the House of Commons, and the Sergeant-at-Arms of the House of Commons and myself form part of the welcoming party, and we meet and greet the visiting dignitaries. And the most recent was Prime Minister of Australia and President Bush, and President Karzai, of course. So it's quite an honor to be part of a group to meet and shake the hand of these dignitaries, which one would not have the opportunity to do so.
The Governor General will read the speech from the throne in the Senate, as she is not allowed to enter the House of Commons. So it will be you, the Gentleman Usher of the Black Rod, to lead the dignitaries to the Senate. The group consists of the Prime Minister, Governor General, their spouses, Chief of Defence Staff, and Commissioner of the RCMP. The question is, why are the Chief of Defence Staff and Commissioner of the RCMP part of this group?
Well, that's a good question as well. On October 16th at about 6:35 p.m., the Governor General will arrive on Parliament Hill with her motorcade and take a salute from a 100-person Guard of Honour outside. Then she'll come in the Parliament to the Rotunda and meet and shake the hand of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Harper, the Leader of the Government in the Senate, Senator Le Breton, and the Chief of Defence Staff and the Commissioner of the RCMP. The Chief of Defence Staff and the Commissioner of the RCMP are part of they represent the orders of which the Governor General is the Commander-in-Chief. So that's the reason for the military and the RCMP being represented as in terms of the role of the Governor General and her commanders of the order.
Right, understood. Why is the title Gentleman Usher of the Black Rod? What exactly does that mean, the Black Rod?
Well, the usher, the black rod itself is a 3-foot-long rod. Rods and staffs were used in early days, in early times, of course, by certain individuals who had certain status in society. And the rod that I carry goes back in history to an old order called the Order of the Garter, and some of the symbolism on the black rod relates to the Order of the Garter in the UK. The original black rod in the Senate of Canada was destroyed in the fire in 1916, and the British Parliamentary Association took up a collection and had a black rod made by Garrard Jewellers in London, England, with the Canadian maple leaves on it, and somewhat similar to the original black rod, and presented. It is made of ebony, and it has a lion on top to represent the sovereign and the sovereign's representative. It has also the motto of the Order of the Garter on it, and the King, St. George is the patron saint of the Order of the Garter. So all this goes back in time to over 500 years, and in fact right back to 1348. So it's quite an old history and of tradition.
So you escort the procession, you get to the Senate doors. So what happens next?
Well, that's interesting because I'm very honored to be in the Senate and to be the leader leading the vice-regal procession from the rotunda into the Senate of Canada to begin the speech from the throne. So when Her Excellency arrives at the Senate and takes her seat in the Senate, the Speaker of the Senate, on behalf of the Governor-General, summons me, the Black Rod, to go to the House of Commons, to knock on the door 3 times at the House of Commons, and to summon the Speaker and the members of the House of Commons to come to the Senate to hear the speech from the throne. So I'm a very interesting character and a mysterious character for many because of what I wear, but also I'm the only person in Parliament who can go in a ceremonial and an official way from the Senate to the House of Commons, from the red carpet to the green carpet, if you like, to the House of Commons, to some of the members that come to the Senate to hear the speech from the throne. I'm also the person who gives the nod for the Speaker and the members of the House of Commons to leave the Senate chamber once the speech is read.
How do you personally feel about the meaning of some of the traditions that are carried out by the Usher of the Black Rod?
I feel very strongly about traditions and history because of the fact that of my background naturally, but just as important is that there seems to be an attitude in some parts of the country to do away or to minimize some of these things. And I think this is part of what Canada is, because these symbols also represent the people of Canada, the history behind the people of Canada, the sacrifices that were made by the people of Canada, and I think it's very important for us to maintain these kinds of traditions, so long as we maintain the same kind of Parliament that we have today, and it's based on the Westminster system. I think a lot of the things that we are doing need to be fostered and developed and conserved and held in regard with deep respect by all concerned.
What is it like being a down-homer from Sydney, Nova Scotia, being in the thick of such a high-profile job here in Ottawa? You must enjoy it.
Yes, I do. When I think of myself in Sydney, growing up near the Sydney tar ponds, going to school in Sydney, going to St. Francis Xavier University in Antigonish, and embarking on 2 or 3 different types of careers in my 46-year history. Public service, and then to come to the Senate of Canada. I'm the first Nova Scotian, the first Cape Bretoner, the first naval officer, and the first St. FX graduate to be here in the Senate of Canada as the Usher of the Black Rod. I'm very honored to be here for that, to represent Canada in this way.
That's a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
Is there anything, last question, anything you think you would change in the job if you could knowing that there's 600 years of tradition that might need a little bit of spicing up?
Yes, there's a few things that I think I've done since I've come here to bring the role into the further along into modern time and contemporary times. I spend a great deal of time talking to youth, talking to university students. I'm involved with model parliaments, youth debating societies. I spoke recently to the executive MBA program at Queen's University, a guest speaker at the Terry Fox Foundation. I'm an original coordinator of the Terry Fox Run 25 years ago. I get involved in community things, community organizations, and I will speak or if I'm invited to go to speak. I was just made an honorary member of the Golden Key International Honor Society, University of Ottawa chapter, and just past June I was presented with the Chancellor's Order of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, the Chancellor's Commendation. So bringing the role into modern time is very important. And we're writing a book right now, which should be published in January, on the symbols of authority in Canada. This would include the maces of the Senate and the House of Commons, the Black Rod, and the maces of all the provincial legislatures, and the history behind those maces and how they were developed and how they're used, as well as colors and uniforms that were used by officials in Canadian Parliament in the early times up to 1939. And this book has about 252 photos in the book, and it should be a great educational tool for schools, universities, and for those interested in Canadian history. It would make a great gift book too to visiting dignitaries or anyone who would be interested in our history.
Do you have a working title for the book just yet, or
It's called Canadian Symbols of Authority.
Well, we'll definitely have to come back in a few months and have an interview about that when it comes out.
Yes, the book has actually been written by Dr. Christopher McCreary and Karina Pike from the Gerard Jewelers in London, England. She's a heritage manager, so they're co-authors to the book, and I've been kindly invited to write the foreword to the book. So we're looking forward to getting that published.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Bruce, and I hope your audience is looking in on the TV on the 16th of October at 6:35 for the speech from the throne. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you very much.
Thanks again.